Hello everyone, I'm Xiaogan. Next, we'll start writing this thing. Okay, let's start from scratch. Then we'll add whatever we need as we go. Okay, so let's write the non-streaming version first. First, come here. Here we need to leave object 3. Then here, we first create an object for ourselves and leave it out. After we leave it out, this thing needs to return 3. During the return process, we need to copy the API key and secret. Simply note that this assist key, we consider it as the API key, and this secret key, we consider it as the secret. And here we have an info. We need to make a copy. Okay, here we need to register it to this game instance. Let's check if we registered it to the game instance before. We must not miss it. That would be bad. We actually missed it here. Since we missed it, let's add it in. This shouldn't have been missed. It seems we forgot to write it here. Okay, good. Later on, we'll make a separate video to explain it. This part was missed. Yeah, so this part is particularly easy to miss. If it's missing, it will cause you won't receive his response. That is to say, it causes this problem. Okay. Then here we set this relax source here. Then we need to finally let it call set ready to destroy. Set ready story. Okay. Then after it's okay here, we start writing code here. Okay. There should be no problem with the entire process. We go through this activity. If we go through activity, then first we call the parent class's activity. Then we broadcast here. That is, we're about to execute. This code hasn't changed this. This is from Volcano Engine. We haven't changed this. Then here we need to prepare a response such an info. As for this info, we probably haven't written the code yet. Let's put it here. Okay, so here we write this code. Then next, we also have an asynchronous action to execute here. Let's grab one from the bottom below. Mainly exploring. Let's press enter here for everyone to see. Okay, so when we actually execute the code, it is executed right here, executed here. So executing code here, first, let's grab this log. As for this log, we write it here. It's not Chungfei, it's BDDIN-CAC. Okay, let's start executing this conversation of Wang Xinyan. So first, let's fix this URL. This URL is TANY4K. So this thing called TANY4K. It was copied from our document. Okay, so this document is actually right here. This one. Then if you want to access others, you just need to replace this document. No problem. And we didn't write a media component here. Everyone can extend it themselves if needed. Then here we need to prepare our header. Because the key needs to be placed in the header, we prepare a header. We don't have this method yet, right? So there should be this method. Let's put this aside. Let's write it into our third-party library. Let's write it here. Okay. Let's write it here. It should be this one. This struct should be it. Let's go back again. There's another method. It's a generated Baidu header. Here is a colon. Let's give it a BD. This way it's easier to distinguish. Pass the URL in, pass the key and secret in. And then at this point we need to forward the required information as JSON. We previously did it through JSON. The operator did it. Since we are not doing it through him, we will write a JSON method ourselves. We don't have one yet, right? Not having one is fine. Let's cut it here. We can just write a toStream here. So actually, we write a toStream here, and we haven't written this parameter yet. We'll write it later. Okay, after you highlight this, and we go back here. Good, that's it. Then after that's done, we'll log a message. We can log a redundant message. This way, we record what information we sent, so everyone can take a look. Then, next, we'll take these parameters we've prepared and call this generated HTTP. Okay, so that should be fine. Then next, we'll go to the generated HTTP. We'll come back to this later. Write this header. Because this header must be encrypted, we still have some information to prepare. First, let's make this request. First, get our module to make a request. Then we need to bind the information he receives. Then remember to change the name. We haven't done the streaming yet, right? Then we'll ignore the streaming for now. Then we'll have him set this URL, the incoming server URL. Then we iterate through this tmap and set it in. Okay, right? Then this is a TPIR, should look familiar. Then the type he requested is this. Then the content he requested is exactly what we previously converted from this struct through this to stream. Then finally we send it out. Then we can receive our response here. As for receiving, actually here we first take a log. Then we first take a log here. This log is for releasing this resource, no problem. Then we get this result, and this result, then let's print it again. We just need to look at this data, because we don't need to rush to process the data yet, since steps 1 and 2 haven't been fully tested yet. If you go directly to writing step 3, that would be a bit too fast. So this is a process involving steps 1 and 3. Now the framework is set up. After it's set up, what then? What do we need to do after it's set up? We need to generate the header method for this Genuity. Let's jump to here for now. Let's put it at the very bottom. As for this Genuity header, let's move it over here. It returns a tmap, right? Let's add a BD in front. Then let's create its implementation. Let's look at its encryption method. Its encryption method is actually quite similar to if-likes. First, we prepare a header to output. Then we return it back. Then first, we definitely have an application JSON. Let's just write it in directly, then get our current timestamp. And this timestamp is ISO 8601. Then you can look at this access method here. The weighted method of the S token, as you can see. Let's see if we can find this here. It should be this one. Let's take a look. Find this document. Okay, this is its generation formula and some generation methods. This stuff really gives you a headache, right? So if you don't want to look at it, that's totally fine. Just copy my code over. I don't want to look at this either. Let's just skip it. Okay, then let's write it for him. Okay, then in this place, we need to take the time we obtained and process it. Here, we find this item. Then we use a left function here to process a Z field. You see, if you're interested, you can check it out later. We'll leave it for now. Here, we process this string in stages. After this time, we can edit in. This is our time. You see, the timing is like this. We can take a look at this segment here. You see, it's like this. Okay, so next, we can set a brain while later to check. Then we generate this authorization token. Okay, this token now also requires URLK and secret. We split it apart because this token is actually a complex process. Then we split it up and write it here. This token should be this function. Then we copy it over. We give it a prefix. Then we add 2 line breaks here, so everyone can see it more clearly. This last unit is the effective time. Let's create it again. Okay, now it doesn't report an error. So actually the parameters it needs are these three brothers. They're almost the three brothers, right? Let's take a look. How is this token written? First, we prepare a post and a point. We parse this URL. Just like how iflytext needs to split the string, then we prepare a URL, then cut it. So we haven't written this method for this URL yet. Let's write it again. This method is actually a bit repetitive, but it should be fine if we write it out. So we pass in this URL. We give it an alcibdio, then split it. Split the domain and the following point out of it. Okay, let's delete it here. Then after splitting it out, we can use these two. Then next, we add a prefix. As for this prefix, how is it concatenated? Actually, the front part is his method. Well, it's just another version. And then our key. And then there's our time. Yes, valid. This is our current time. And here there is a valid time. Yes, and this is a prefix. This is very complicated. I don't really want to talk about this. Just go look at the documentation and figure it out. And this zban is a request. And this request is actually the repressing now we wrote earlier. First, we add a post, then we start a new line. After the new line, we add a point. When this point, right. After this point, then we start a new line again. Then we write our domain name, right. See, doesn't this look very familiar to Yunfei? So they are all essentially the same. Then start a new line again. After starting the new line, we add this tai. Then we need to URL encode this time. Because to avoid it not being readable, so it's this part. Then next, we need to encrypt this thing. So first we encrypt the sync. What is sync? The way it is encrypted. We haven't written it yet. Right, it should be the method of ciphertext. It should be this method, secret and K. That is using the API secret to encrypt it. So this is the sign key. And then there is a signature. As for the signature, it is the same. And then also use this, just take this secret. Go encrypt this data after the encryption is complete. Finally, we will assemble the token for Souchen. When assembling, you simply combine your prefix with this signature. Then this is the token we need. Okay, so we have roughly finished explaining it to you. You can see, look, actually, this is how it's done. Look at this canal cast. Right? Survival sign king, survival signature. Finally, put this thing together. Okay. Because this is relatively, this thing, its core point is how you use encryption methods in UE5. How you use encryption methods, then how you get the time. Then you follow the steps one by one. Then you combine it with his website. We won't go deeper and write it out for everyone bit by bit, because once you do it, you'll understand. You're already quite skilled now, since you've already integrated iflyte. Now integrate another one, like ERNIE Bot. Look, how many are left on the market? There's still Tencents, there's still Alibaba Clouds, there's still ByteDances, right? Think about it. When you usually work on a project, how could you possibly integrate all 5 major vendors' products, right? Okay. This alias BD URL, we haven't written it yet. We just need to copy the core over. This is just a simple split. So we take this URL and split it using this slash method into the first part. Then concatenate it and return it. Okay, basically at this point, the entire request process has been set up. The request phase is already done. Now we just haven't defined the data in our body yet. Because the data in this body, you can see here in the HTTP name, it will convert it into our actual implementation. Then as one of our parameters, send it over. We are now essentially taking our authentication phase, these authoritative phases, and getting them all sorted out. Okay, this lesson ends here. Next, we will go ahead and define the JSON for our request.